Welcome to Mary's Menagerie. Today we're going to be upgrading some thrift store finds. Project number 1, Hello Sign Redesign. I purchased this little hello sign from Goodwill. It cost me $1.99. My first step is to clean this up. So I got my Crud Cutter out and I sprayed it and wiped it down and got all the sticky stuff off from the stickers. And then I'm getting it ready to paint. The second step is to paint. I'm using my Waverly paint that is the color ink. The next thing I did was to put a coat of Mod Podge over the whole sign. I wasn't even sure what I was going to do after this. I didn't know if this was going to be the end of the project. So I went ahead and Mod Podge to protect the paint. I had this ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I thought, hey, I wonder if I can incorporate this. So I decided to put the ribbon around the edge of the hello sign. So I got my Mod Podge out and I started attaching it. If I did this project again, I would probably just use Elmer's glue to put the ribbon on, because I had to do a section at a time and then let it dry. And then I don't show that in the video, but it took me a pretty long time to do this whole thing going all the way around because I had to stop and let it dry. Once I made it back to the beginning, I trimmed the ribbon and then I did the last coat of Mod Podge. This is what it looked like when I completed the ribbon. I wasn't real happy with how it all looks streaky and on the front and the back. So I took my Waverly chalk ink paint and I decided to use a little roller, and that way it would kind of like smooth it all out and make it all uniform. Here I am painting the front, and I did the same thing to the back. After it dried, I took it outside and I sprayed this Rust-Oleum Satin Clear Finish spray to avoid the streaks. After I let it dry, I realized I was missing one thing. I found these little flowers at Hobby Lobby, and so I used some Elmer's glue and I put it on the exclamation point. Add a little bit of detail there. I also used some E6000. I did it off camera so you didn't see me use it, but I actually put that on first before I put the Elmer's glue on it. And this is how it turned out. Here is the final result. I think the color and the details that I added make this a lot more appealing. Project number 2, calendar blocks transformed. I purchased these calendar blocks from Goodwill, again for $1.99. They have numbers on them and they have months and days, years, weeks. I guess it was for a baby when you have a new baby. And I decided to make some home decor out of this. I took my crud cutter and I wiped down all the blocks. And then I took my Waverly Snow White chalk paint and I painted them. It took me about 3 coats to get a really good finish on there where you couldn't see the numbers and the words through the paint. The reason I chose white to paint these blocks is I'm going to decoupage some black and white tissue paper on these, and the white underneath will make the colors stand out. Here we have block number 1. I have 3 different types of tissue paper, and so I'm going to put one type of tissue paper on alternate sides or opposite sides, and I put some Mod Podge on there, and I cut my tissue paper and I attached it to the blocks. I let it sit for just a few minutes, and then I took my little sander and I am going to sand the edges, and that will take the tissue paper off and leave a pretty smooth edge. Tissue paper number 1 is complete. This is the second type of tissue paper I'm going to use on 2 more sides, 2 sides that are opposite of each other. I put my Mod Podge on there, and then I place the tissue paper on there, and it's kind of nice because if you don't get it on there perfectly the first time, you can move it around. I have to do that a couple times on some other sides. So it's actually a pretty easy process. After smoothing out the wrinkles and letting it set for a couple minutes, I take my sander and I do the edges on this one as well. This is the third type of tissue paper that I'm going to use on the last 2 sides. Here's an example of where I had to lift the tissue paper up a couple times to make sure it was in the right spot, and then also to get rid of some of the wrinkles. last step is to coat every side with Mod Podge and let it dry. Block number 2. For this block, I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and I am going to decoupage it to the block on 4 sides. Again, next time I would probably use Elmer's glue because it took me a while just because it didn't really want to stick using the Mod Podge very well. Another thing I would do next time is I would cut the ribbon shorter so it didn't overlap so much. When I finished with the Mod Podge, I put some ribbon and a thing of paint on top for it to get a really good bond where it overlapped. Once that was dry, I went around and added Mod Podge to all the sides where the ribbons are. Block number 3. Using a different type of ribbon, I went through the exact same process as block number 2, adding this ribbon to the block. After the ribbon was dry, I added Mod Podge to all 4 sides. Unfortunately, the video where I put the tissue paper on the 2 white sides of these 2 blocks was blurry, so I can't show you that, but I can show you the final result. There's the first block, this is actually the 3rd block, and this is the 2nd block. And here is the final result. I think these blocks turned out interesting enough to be decor on their own or to be mixed with other decor like you see here, one being used as a little riser. Deco blocks and hello sign displayed together. I think these 2 projects kind of go well together in this little arrangement. Thank you for watching Mary's Menagerie. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.